welcome to Motivation Monday. And men, children are a blessing from the Lord. That is what the Bible tells us. And for many married couples, once they get married, that is one of the dreams they have, to be able to raise their own family and to be able to get children. But for some couples, that becomes something that becomes a prayer item, and they have to pray and pray and pray and believe God and stand in faith. This morning, we are hanging out with Tabitha Wachira. Tabitha Wachira, how are you doing?
Hi, James.
Karibu
I'm
sana.
fine, thank you.
It's good to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
Yes. You're part of Waiting Wombs, right?
Yeah, I'm part of Waiting Room.
What is Waiting Wombs all about?
Waiting Rooms is a group that we are mainly women that have been waiting for the fruit of the womb. And it's a journey for all of us.
Yeah.
Some are 1 year, others 10, others 15.
Wow.
But all of us are waiting. And some of us have been blessed already.
Great.
Yeah, but they still hang out with us.
Okay. So when you hang out, what do you guys do? Do you encourage one another? Do you pray together? What do you do?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do when we're together. We pray. We encourage each other. We cheer each other on. We share information about health, the conditions that we all have.
Yeah.
And we also celebrate those that have already had their blessing.
Okay. Wow. That's a good support system there. We are grateful for that. So tell us your story. How long have you been waiting for a child?
Okay, we've been married for 10 years now. And it's been a journey. When we got married, we were actually not like waiting to have a baby. We were like, let's do this once and for all.
Yeah.
But we had 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And then we started seeking medical attention.
Okay. That's
when I discovered that I have a condition. We call it PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovary syndrome.
Okay.
And it's actually one of the signs of it is when you don't have regular periods. But no one actually takes like a concern. But when the doctors checked and they found that's the issue, we had to go for one surgery. And we started fertility medicine. Still, it didn't work. And the other thing that we actually had to do so that the ovaries can function is balance the hormones.
Okay. Which
has really been a journey. But here we are, we can say that that's behind us now. I think the process for us right now is waiting for that child, for that baby.
Okay.
It's been a journey. It's tough.
I can
because
imagine.
The whole of your body doesn't function the way it's supposed to be functioning.
Okay.
But you keep pushing. For me, I would say the main challenge was the balancing of hormones. And we got a drug that we're using for that.
Okay.
And now I would say that it's actually waiting, not like we are in pain or anything. The balance the hormones are okay as per now.
Yeah.
And we're moving on.
It's
been a journey for 10 years.
Wow.
Waiting patiently.
That's wonderful. Let me take you back to your earlier years of marriage. You know, one of the things I hear people say, and sometimes it can be insensitive, you know, you've been married, 1 year has gone by, 2 years has gone by, and people start asking you, na nyinyi kwani hamtaki watoto? Yeah? You guys should start having babies. Did you guys go through that phase, and how did you handle it?
Well, I think when we discovered we had a problem, we went to the doctor, and I don't know if to say it's a blessing. We've not had such harsh moments
Wow.
because of maybe where we come from, the community that we come from, and community here, I mean church,
Yeah.
that we've surrounded ourselves with.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen us married from day one.
Mm-hmm.
We've not had such harsh words.
Okay.
Like,
Even from family members.
Nope.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah. I think one thing that God did for us,
Mm-hmm.
He had us married. He took us away from the people that know us
Okay.
and placed that somewhere else. Now we are building our lives. Actually,
how did that happen? How did that happen?
My husband got a job elsewhere.
Uh-huh.
And so we relocated.
Out of the country?
No, just in the country.
Okay, but another city.
Yeah, another city.
Mm-hmm.
And so where we came,
Mm-hmm.
people didn't know us.
Yeah.
And it's not very many people are courageous enough to ask, what's your problem?
Mm-hmm.
We actually say that like God took us and brought us to a bush in quotes,
Mm-hmm.
to develop us.
Mm.
And this is one of the areas that He wanted us to be us.
Yeah.
And go through the process, just the two of us. And that's the way it's been. As for family, they understand, they know the situation.
Okay.
And so they've not actually pushed us or harassed us. Our friends, the same thing. The best thing about it is that most of our friends are church friends.
Yeah.
So we've not had any commotion with any of them. As a matter of fact, they pray for us.
Wow, that's a good support system as well. You know, sometimes in situations like this, you have a lot of pressure that comes from the husband side. I don't know, for some reason, we always make the assumption if a couple can't have kids, it must be something wrong with the lady. And I've had stories where even from the husband's side, there's a lot of pressure even to marry somebody else. Huyu akupatie watoto, tafuta mwingine akupatie watoto. I've even heard of couples who the husband was told, go out there and just get a child, at least to preserve your legacy. So from what you're saying, you guys have never experienced that kind of thing.
Yeah, we've not experienced that. I hope one day He'll tell you himself.
Yes.
But one thing He has done,
yeah,
is very protective of me.
Wow, that's good.
And so once He senses that such a thing will arise, maybe in an occasion, I would rather not go. He would rather handle it himself. But He has been very, very protective. And the issue of being childless is between us, and we talk about it between us.
Yeah.
And not the family that is directly involved.
Okay.
But I've not had an issue either from his family side or from my family side.
Wow, that's a blessing. When you interact with other ladies from waiting wombs, what are some of the stories they share regarding that issue of pressure from families?
Yeah, that's exactly what you've said. Some are left. Somebody goes and gets a baby out there, but they still want to remain married to you. And I think that's the major issue, and it's very painful to see somebody being left because of maybe something they can't control.
Yeah.
And the other issue is being forced to do all manner of things, go to several doctors, spend a lot of money looking for a solution.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been tough for some ladies.
Okay.
And we are praying for them and supporting them the best way we can.
Okay. I'm just wondering, in your group, in the Waiting Wombs group, do you have any ladies who thought they had an issue only to discover that the issue is with the husband? Do you have such stories?
Yeah, there are such. There are enough stories. And as Africans, it's hard to tell a man he has an issue.
Yeah.
But I think the group is helping change the narrative and tell men that you can also have a problem and it's good to see a doctor. It's good to take this kind of medicine for you to get help. So I think that the group is helping because there are some couples, there are people that are couples in the group.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
And so the doctors are coming in and telling people this is no longer a woman issue, it could also be a man issue too. And we are looking at that keenly. Yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions for us today, or maybe you are in a similar situation with Tabitha, you can share with us on SMS on 20316. WhatsApp is 0786 316 316. You know, Tabitha, we'll talk about this shortly. I remember once hosting a lady, and we were talking about this whole issue of childlessness, and you know, sometimes it's a medical issue. And this lady told me she knows she has a medical issue, but she has decided not to do anything about it, but to just wait in faith and believe God that God will give them a baby. And I thought, okay, if you know there's a medical issue, why don't you get yourself, you know, sorted out medically? And she said, no, that is a lack of faith. I would want to find out what you think about that kind of thinking. We'll talk about that shortly. So earlier on, Tabitha, I was talking about a lady I was having a conversation with, and she was telling me, you know, she has been checked, and the issue is a medical condition. It can actually be corrected, but she was adamant, and she was saying no on matters childbearing and procreation. Hizo ni za Mungu. We should not tamper with them. So if God wants me to have a child, God will heal me, you know, and God will restore me, and God will make things okay. But I'm not going for medical attention. And I thought, okay, what do you think about that, Tabitha?
I wouldn't blame her. And I wouldn't judge her.
Okay.
Because one thing, the hospital visits can be tiring and very stressful. Very, very stressful.
Yes.
I have seen enough doctors, you know, with this kind of condition where everyone is concerned, they actually will refer you to any doctor they've had a successful story.
Oh.
They treated this and this. And so, like, you'll always get a contact. I have a contact I got last week. Somebody is like, you need to go and see this doctor. Maybe they'll help you. They helped so-and-so, and now she has a baby and all that. So I would understand. Maybe that's where she's coming from. But now when we come to the issues of faith, I think faith has its place and the medical world has its place. I am a woman of faith.
Yeah.
I'm believing God in every way about this situation. But I'll still go to the doctor. Because some things they need to tell you, this is it, so that you know what you're praying for.
Yeah.
Like now, before I got married, I didn't know I have PCOS. Now when I'm praying with understanding that
yes.
this is the condition I have. And actually, one of the prayers that I always make is, God balance my hormones. It's you that created me. You know where the problem is.
Yeah.
The medicine will sort it here and there, but you know.
Yeah.
And so one actually prayer that I pray is, God, make me whole, make my body whole, make my spirit whole, make my soul whole. And now that's where faith comes in. Yeah.
Susan is asking, I'm just wondering if Tabitha's condition is IVF treatment an option? And then she's asking, what about surrogacy, where someone carries pregnancy for you? Is surrogacy legal in this country?
IVF can actually work. But for us, we were like, let's give God time. Let's see what he's about.
Yeah.
We've not had a breakthrough to go for IVF. It's an option. And a very good option.
Yeah.
But we've not had a breakthrough for it as a couple.
Okay.
And so we are not planning right now. We are not planning. We can't say that we are planning. as I've told you, in matters of faith, you have to also listen to God carefully.
Very true.
Very, very carefully. Because He knows. He's aware. We are not surprising Him, oh God, we don't have a child. He's very much aware. And so for us as a couple, we've been waiting to hear, let's go this way.
Yeah.
About surrogacy, I would say the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a matter of waiting upon God, hearing. If He tells us and shows us signs, this is what I want you guys to do, we'll definitely go for it.
I love
but
what...
ultimately,
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's Him guiding us.
I love
and
what
that's
you...
why they... Sorry?
I was sorry for interrupting you, but I was going to say, I love what you're sharing when you say that, we have to be sensitive on matters of faith, and it's a personal journey. It's not a blanket solution that applies to everybody, and you have to, walk your journey with your convictions, and you have to take it one stride at a time. So I love that you're sharing that. I'm just wondering, Tabitha, because you're on this journey with your husband, what kind of support does your husband give you as you walk together in this journey?
Okay, let me take you back, kidogo. You talked about a process.
Yeah.
The reason why we are able to carry this or to walk through this is because we took it as a process. This is our process in God. And one thing that I have actually, or we have been able to see in each and every marriage that we know, every marriage has its own process.
Yes.
Ours is the issue of a child. Somebody else is the issue of in-laws. Somebody else is the issue of infidelity. Somebody else is the issue of kids are rebellious.
Yeah.
All those are processes. And so this is our process. And we took it upon ourselves to make it a process. And the process is majorly knowing God. In this journey, we have actually known God as a couple. We know what He can do, what He's able to do. And as you're asking, what has my husband, what has he done? Or what kind of support has he given me? One thing I would say, he would take me to the hospital. One thing about the condition I have, you can be sick any other day.
Oh.
So like, if it's majorly the thing I fight most about is digestion. So every day I have digestion problems. Every other day. So it's always funny because he has to keep saying pole, because I'm saying, oh, this is happening to me. Today I woke up feeling like this. And so he has to keep saying pole. He's aware. And when there's a major issue, he's there to take me to the hospital without asking so many questions. And he knows mainly it's because of this condition that I have. And also praying.
Yeah.
He's a man of God.
Wow.
He's really prayed for me. He's taken the Isaac position.
Yes.
Isaac of the Bible, where he prayed for Rebecca. He's actually done that. I've had him pray for me. At times he comes to bed, he just touches me and prays for me. And yeah, he's actually done it well, and I thank God for that. I praise Him for that. He's not left that position as a man, as a husband.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And that's a lesson to other husbands who may find themselves in a similar situation, not to start running off to find somebody else, but to stick to your wife and walk this journey together. I want to take you back to the day when you discovered you actually have a problem. That is why you're not able to bear children. How did that feel, and how did both of you receive that news?
I'm trying to remember how it was like. I think we were not directly told that we can't have children.
Okay.
But I was told that we need to use fertility drugs for us to be able to conceive. And so after the surgery, we were put under the 3 months fertility drugs.
Yeah.
And I don't remember we sat down and said, oh, this is the situation right now. I think we just moved on in life and prayed. and took the drugs
Mm.
and trusted God that after these 3 months there'll be something, and then there was nothing.
Yeah.
Continued living. Again, we tried, there's nothing, and we just live.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as we would want to discuss it and have a self-pity, there is nothing much you can do about it.
Yeah.
This is a process that is so effortless for other people, but for us is something major. And I think we have resolved to pray about it, to wait on God patiently. And I think for me, when I agreed for this interview is because of that kind of a place that we've gotten ourselves, that we can only trust God and believe in Him, have faith in Him.
Yeah.
Wait for Him patiently.
Okay. Someone is asking, have you guys ever considered adopting?
Those are suggestions from other people.
Yeah.
And they mean well for us. And actually, with adoption, we'll be having maybe 2 or 3. There are enough places we've been referred to go and get that baby and come and live with them. But again, as I've told you, has God confirmed this is the way I want you guys to go?
Yeah.
Has He confirmed? We've not heard Him say that. It's not being religious, it's being careful not to get yourself in a situation that maybe later you regret in life. Actually, I'll tell you of a story when somebody suggested that we adopt. They actually adopted a kid, and then 6 months later, she got pregnant.
Oh.
And there she was in a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah? There she was. Well, I don't know how she's handling the situation, but at some point you'd ask yourself very, very many questions. Did you rush before God? Did you wait for Him?
It's interesting because I have a friend of mine who went through a similar experience, and for them they had stayed for quite a number of years without having a child. And just back to what you said, they were seeking God about it, and God led them to adopt. They didn't just jump to it because suggestions. No. Exactly what you're saying. It's their walk of faith. They haven't had God. They had God, and God said adopt, and God has said adopt that particular child. She was a girl. And same thing happened to them. Immediately they adopted her. A couple of months later, they got pregnant, and they got their first child. I think now they have about 4 or 5 children. And they keep saying, we believe God delayed our children because God wanted us to go for this one first. Because the opportunities that have come into that girl's life because of being adopted into that family are just unbelievable. And so for me, I think that resonates exactly with what you're saying. It's not just rushing into things because people are giving you all sorts of options. You're walking with God. In fact, let me ask you, Tabitha, would you say that for you and your husband finding yourselves in this situation, has this led you to have a closer walk with God?
Oh, yeah. That's very, very true. We are working closely with God. He's using our situation to bless other people.
Wow.
And one thing I would say is taking that position of waiting upon Him. We always say this with my husband, that we can't even complain or grumble. Every other, like in the 10 years I've celebrated my siblings' kids.
Yeah.
Each one of them. And this thing that always occurs to us, we cannot complain. God has been so good to us. And I always put it this way, God knows what I need now.
Yeah.
In these 10 years, He's given us exactly what we needed for now. And tomorrow, He'll take care of it. He knows maybe this is not the time for a child. So He's giving us what we need now, maybe in preparation for a child. And we always focus on that He knows what we need. He knows what I need this particular moment.
Yeah.
And that's where we live our faith. We don't complain. We pray and trust Him, and we give Him thanks. We don't ask him questions. Actually, that's one thing I refrain from doing, asking
Asking
God
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, because every time you see somebody pregnant, you're like, God,
What about
you are tempted
us?
to ask me, yeah, but we have refrained from that. We celebrate each and every pregnancy in our circle, and we take care of the kids that God has given. Actually, I tell people that I may not be called a mom at home, but I'm called a mom everywhere else.
Wow.
And I say many times I don't pray for a child. I tell God, help me to love the ones that you've given me. There are many.
Yeah, that
They are
takes
not mine biologically, but there are many. There are many, and it gives us joy. It really gives us joy
that
to
that
see
takes
other people being blessed.
that takes a lot of maturity from you and your husband to have that kind of attitude. It's just a blessing to hear that. Eden tea is the finest garden tea. I call it gashai. Have you had your cup of gashai this morning? If you haven't had gashai, me, I'm almost on my second cup. Eden tea, purple, Eden green tea, Eden ginger tea, Eden lemon tea, Eden premium tea, available at the supermarkets at affordable prices. And Eden tea is reminding us to stay vigilant. COVID-19 is still here with us. Continue putting on your face mask. Continue washing your hands and sanitizing. Continue maintaining interpersonal distance. Let's watch out for each other. And as we do so, we shall overcome together. Like I said, Eden tea is available at supermarkets at affordable prices. Get some for yourself. You will figure out it is truly the finest garden tea. Lois is texting in and she says, I've known Tabitha Wachira for many years and her walk with God is evident. She has been a great support to me through my processes. Thank you for sharing that. Joyce in Uganda, you say Tabitha's story is very encouraging. Asante Sana, thank you for sharing that with us today. This morning we hung out with Tabitha Wachira. She's part of Waiting Wombs and she's sharing her story with us. Tabitha, there might be some women who are tuned in today. They've never heard of Waiting Wombs. They don't have any support system, and they're under a lot of pressure, maybe from family or community or even their own husbands, because they're not able to conceive. What encouragement can you give them?
As much as it's a difficult thing for each and every one of us, one sure thing I would tell any woman out there is your relationship with God matters. That's what has enabled us to get here. And I think making God the lover of your soul, making him your everything, is what has gotten us here.
Okay.
We don't live for ourselves, we live for God. And that's why we can comfortably and courageously say that we are waiting upon him. And we will continue fighting. This is our process.
Yeah.
But you have to make that relationship very, very strong. Because this is a test. It's a test in every way. And for you to overcome some of these things that people face, you have to know some other power. And that's the only God's power that can sustain and keep you. Also, the issues of self-esteem. Believe in yourself. Believe that God knows you, loves you, cares for you, is concerned about you. He can't leave you in such a situation alone.
Yeah.
He'll always come for you. Pray about it. Pray for your soul. Pray for your body. Pray for your family, for your spouse. Even if they leave you, pray for them. God knows why he chose each one of us to go through this. And ultimately, we should glorify him in this process.
Wow.
And for those that have been left, there is hope. He's still God.
Yeah.
He's still seated on his throne. He never leaves there. He'll not leave it. He'll never leave you. Just be strong, encourage yourself. I think one of the things the last 3 years I've been experiencing and telling myself that God is enough. God is enough, so I'm enough. As a woman, I'm enough. As a couple, we are enough because God is enough. We have made him enough. We are contented by this situation.
Wow.
We'll fight through. We will trust God and we'll hope in him forever and ever.
That's good.
So make him enough for you. Sing about it. I have even a bracelet. I have posts on my wall saying that God is enough. I keep reminding myself that God is enough, so I'm enough.
Okay.
And I only need God for this journey.
Wow. I love that. That's some good encouragement. As we finish, Tabitha, what would you advise? Because sometimes, like I said earlier on, sometimes people can get insensitive, and sometimes we may say some things or ask some questions to couples like you who are in waiting and believing God for the fruit of the womb. What are some insensitive things we should not say to couples like you and your husband?
Well, humans are humans,
Yeah.
and they'll always say something, and
Yeah.
we are living in a very highly opinionated society.
Very true.
So I think one of the things that people should not ask is, mtoto atakuja lini? What's your problem? Is it you or is it him? And also, people should actually believe the story they are given. Don't go digging.
Yeah.
Just accept what you've been told as the truth and leave it there. And I think as a community, as a society, praying is the best thing you can do for a couple.
I like that.
And if you're suggesting things, always maintain a certain lane when you're suggesting. Because some people are not able to do some of the things that you're telling them. Some people can't go to the hospitals that you want them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have an understanding. And also, as I said earlier, always remember this is the couple's process. You too have a process. It's only that it's not conspicuous. But every couple, every marriage has a process.
Yes.
And just let them have their process.
Wow.
And wait with them.
Wait with them. I like that. Allow them to go through their process and wait with them. Tabitha, thank you so much for finding the time to talk to us this morning. What's your husband's name?
He's James.
James.
Yeah, he should come and wave.
That's a good man. James, where her? We need to see you, James. I had seen you earlier setting up the camera for your wife. Yeah. James, how are you?
Hello. Fine, thank you.
You have a wonderful name and a wonderful wife.
Okay. Thank you.
By the way, I'm also called James, and my wife's middle name is actually Tabitha.
Oh.
Yes. Kwa hivyo tumebarikiwa sisi wawili.
Asante. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We truly appreciate it. I'm out of time. I pray that Tabitha's story and Tabitha and James's story has encouraged you today. If you're one of those who's also waiting, God is enough. Look to him. He will open a way for you. Asanteni sana.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.